When MrBeast, the king of YouTube challenges, stepped into Ohio State Penitentiary. But he had no idea what awaited him. This place is not just an abandoned prison. It's a relic of despair and torment. Within its walls, brutal punishments were routine. Solitary confinement broke minds. Whips tore flesh. But do you know what true terror is? The unseen. Shadows that move with a life of their own. Ghostly figures that replay their final moments. MrBeast faced it. Now, will you? Enter, if you dare, and uncover the haunting past of Ohio State Penitentiary. Origin. Founded in the early 19th century, Ohio State Penitentiary was envisioned as a modern correctional facility designed to replace outdated methods of punishment with a focus on rehabilitation. Its founders believed in the power of confinement and labor to transform criminals into productive citizens, setting an example for the burgeoning prison reform movement in the United States. Over the decades, Ohio State Penitentiary evolved from its humble beginnings into a sprawling complex of cell blocks, workshops, and administrative buildings. As the inmate population grew, so did the challenges of maintaining order and discipline within its walls. The prison became synonymous with harsh discipline and strict enforcement of rules, earning a reputation as one of the toughest institutions in the country. Throughout its history, Ohio State Penitentiary bore witness to numerous tragedies and controversies, infamous incidents, and inmates. On April 21, 1930, a riot sparked a devastating fire in the chapel. Flames spread quickly, trapping inmates. Over 320 prisoners perished, their screams echoing through the corridors. Witnesses report hearing these screams on the anniversary of the fire. Apparitions of charred bodies are seen stumbling through the darkness, reliving their final moments. Officially, the fire was blamed on 3 inmates, 2 of whom committed suicide months following the tragedy. Only a handful of people named a more sinister source for the fire, noting with interest that the doomed West Cell Block, which had been added to the original prison in 1875, had been built directly on top of the old prison cemetery. The bodies, the legends say, were never removed, so some think their vengeful spirit took command and took revenge. Harry Pierpont, a notorious bank robber and member of John Dillinger's gang, was held at the penitentiary. In a daring escape attempt, he killed several guards. Later, Pierpont was executed, but his spirit remains. The warden at the time, who was believed to be cursed by Pierpont, reportedly haunts the prison. Cold spots and ghostly apparitions of the warden are frequently reported in his old office. In the depths of the basement dwell 2 distinct beings, one tragic, the other nefarious. Legend whispers of a 14-year-old boy beaten to his demise within those dark confines. His shadow flickers across walls, a fleeting specter that evades direct gaze. Alongside him lurks another presence, more ominous. Though the boy exudes a gentle aura, the other figure brings unease, its sinister intent palpable. Some say this figure, a guard of malevolent demeanor, may even be the boy's killer. In the Ohio State Reformatory, the chair room stands out as one of the strangest and most unassuming sights. As you walk down a hallway and glance to the right, you see a windowless room. In the center, a chair faces outward, almost as if someone is watching you. According to legend, a dark entity resides here and prefers the chair to remain in the middle. If you move the chair, it soon returns to its original position. Once someone sat in the chair and provoked the spirit by yelling at it. This person left with scratch marks down their back. It was one of the few physical manifestations of the hauntings. Visitors feel uneasy entering the room, as if someone is staring at them, urging them to move along. The penitentiary's execution chamber witnessed many deaths. Inmates were executed via the electric chair, known as Old Sparky. The chamber is said to be cursed. Guards and visitors report electrical malfunctions, eerie buzzing sounds, and the sensation of being watched. Some claim to see shadowy figures and feel an oppressive atmosphere in the room. Warden Glatke's wife, Helen, expired under mysterious circumstances. She was found shot in their quarters. Some say she expired while reaching for a jewelry box. Many believe it wasn't an accident. Someone had killed her. Helen's ghost is said to haunt the warden's quarters. Cold drafts, mournful cries, and flickering lights are common occurrences. The sense of her presence is strong, especially near the place of her death. The prison chapel, once a place of solace, is now filled with a sinister energy. During the 1930 fire, many inmates perished here. Shadows dart across the walls, and faint cries are often heard. Visitors feel an overwhelming sense of dread. The spirits of those who died in the fire seem unable to find peace. Chester Burke, a bank robber, was notorious for his violent temper. He was placed in solitary confinement, where he lost his sanity. Guards reported hearing his screams long after his death. Visitors claim to feel an icy presence and hear disembodied voices in his former cell. Robert Daniels, a brutal murderer, was executed in the electric chair. After his death, strange occurrences began in the execution chamber. Guards reported hearing electrical buzzing and seeing shadowy figures. Some felt a hand on their shoulder, only to turn and find no one there. Brutal punishments and their hauntings. The Ohio State Penitentiary was notorious for its harsh and often brutal punishments. These methods aimed to break the spirits of inmates, but they often left behind tales of horror and supernatural occurrences. Some punishments are so severe that even today they give chills. Some of them are the hole, the strap, the water cure, and the iron gag. The hole in the prison is a notorious spot for ghostly encounters. It's a series of small cells meant for isolating very bad prisoners. They couldn't leave their cells and had no natural light. It was a miserable place, driving some to insanity. One chilling tale involves a guard putting 2 prisoners in one cell, but only one came out. Overall, it said 100 prisoners were crammed into space meant for 20. Living people who go in feel sick, cold spots, trouble breathing, and just want to escape. The strap was another form of punishment where prisoners were tied down and whipped with leather straps. The brutality of this punishment left deep physical and psychological scars. According to folklore, the cries of those who suffered under the strap can still be heard echoing through the halls. Some visitors report hearing the sounds of whipping and agonized screams, even though the punishment ceased long ago. The water cure involved force-feeding inmates large amounts of water, sometimes to the point of bursting their stomachs. This cruel method often resulted in death. Paranormal investigators claim that the area where this punishment was administered is haunted by the spirits of those who expired in agony. People report hearing gurgling sounds and seeing ghostly figures with bloated faces struggling to breathe. Even MrBeast felt uneasy. The iron gag was a device used to silence inmates. It involved a metal piece inserted into the mouth, causing excruciating pain. Many inmates expired from choking or infection. The legend says that those who perished with the iron gag returned to the prison, their mouths twisted in silent screams. Visitors have seen apparitions with bloodied mouths and heard faint, choking sounds. The reason of abandonment. Ohio State Penitentiary, a place of despair, was abandoned in 1984. The prison, once mighty, fell victim to its own darkness. Overcrowding turned cells into cages. Walls, once strong, crumbled. Disease and decay spread unchecked. Brutality was a daily ritual. After the tragic fire of 1930, riots erupted, shaking the foundations of this jail. Blood spilled, revealing the prison's rotten core. Calls for reform grew louder. The old fortress could not withstand the demand for change. Inmates were moved, gates closed, silence fell. MrBeast's terrifying experience. Recently, popular YouTuber MrBeast visited the Ohio State Penitentiary. His team spent a night exploring the dark corridors and abandoned cells. They experienced unexplainable phenomena. cameras captured eerie shadows, and equipment malfunctioned without reason. MrBeast reported hearing footsteps and whispers, though no one else was present. His encounter added to the prison's haunted reputation. Today's episode over here. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Do you want to visit Ohio State Penitentiary? You can tell us your opinion in the comment. Could you watch this video to know 5 mysterious places in China? Thanks for staying with us.